You ready for this?
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
Welcome to the 34th episode of Trollin HGC, a Heroes of the Storm podcast focused on esports, a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I am your host, LiQuid, and I'm joined today, as usual, by Bahgz. How's it going, man?
What is up? I'm glad to be back. I am very excited to do tonight's show. We've got a special guest, but I am going to let you introduce him. Go ahead.
You had it, man. You could have went with that. But tonight we are joined by returning guest DBSmiley, writers for Heroes Hearth website, keeper of all things who's going where and when to which international tournaments. How's it going, dude?
I think I've come to the realization that my hair is not coming back.
You know what? I struggle with that, and I kind of wish I had gotten my hair cut today, because then you could see the huge bald spot I have going in the front. But my hair is a little bit longer, and it's not as obvious. And I think I'm going to be okay with that for today.
No, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Just been busy, but enough time to sit down and talk with you guys. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Before we jump into anything, I do want to thank our Patreons over at patreon.com/trollsgg. We do share that with the entire Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. And Bahgz has recently taken over the Patreon duties. You want to tell everybody what you've done, what you've changed? Any of the good stuff?
Have. All right, so guys, we've got new stretch goals for the community to try and unlock. At $25 a month, we'll make sure to do after show games. Like, we already do after show games a little bit, but we will basically guarantee you after show games with us after each and every single podcast. So after the Nexus Trolls and after Trolling HGC, always have after show games at $25 a month. When we hit that goal, that will be unlocked. The next goal is at $50 a month. We will do an audio only version of entry-level esports with Trent Esports. That requires us to start a new RSS feed, pay for more hosting. So at $50, it's something that's been requested, and at $50 a month, that's something we will unlock for you guys. So when you're on your way to work and you want to listen to Trent and him talk about something to do with esports in the Heroes community, whatever hot button topic that might be, at $50 a month, that will be unlocked. The next goal after that is $150 a month. And at $150 a month, we will start doing a call-in show once a month. It will probably be immediately after some big news is released or after a big event happens. But once a month, we will do that. It's going to be priority call-ins for patrons only, but anyone can call in. Sorry, I shouldn't have said patrons only. It's going to be priority for the patrons to call in, but anybody can call in. It's just priority for patrons that we have. As well, we also have a new patron reward tier. So if you're already a patron, you might want to consider checking that out. At $10 a month, we have the new patron tier, which is basically you get credited at the end of every show, plus all the other rewards you get, which is if you're already a patron, the new reward for the basically $1 a month patron is you get early access to the show notes, which will get posted to the Patreon website that we have, and only the patrons have access to that. So you get to see the show notes before the show goes live, so you can see us update them throughout the week. We're going to look to maybe post those maybe every Monday, so you get a little early access before Trolling goes live on Tuesday and the Nexus Trolls goes live on Wednesday. And that's what I've done with the Patreon so far, as well as more content will get posted to the Patreon site.
I think the only other thing I want to add to that, first, thank you for taking that over and updating that. It needed to be done, and I appreciate that. Second, we've moved from the weekly episode model to the monthly model. So if you're joining us, keep that in mind. That's the way we're moving. Since we do share it between multiple shows and content that's being pushed on our website, we figured it made more sense to go monthly with that. One other thing I want to point out, we are growing again. There are a number of positions we've actually posted on our website this time instead of me just tweeting out about them. So if you check out trolls.gg/join, you will see a number of positions out there that can be applied for. And finally, our troll of the week this week is Haloran. Haloran is a great guy in the community. If you don't know who he is, I have no idea how you found our show. Because honestly, if you are a fan of the show, you've seen Haloran cast something right. So thank you, Haloran, for everything you've done for us and the community. You are our troll of the week. And now, got some.
Tonight on the Trolls.gg Podcast Network, Trollin HGC proudly presents Heroes Esports News, Notes, and Drama with your hosts, LiQuiuD and Bahgz.
All right. Week 5. Playing on the Maiev patch. Maiev balance patch, but no Maiev.
She is not enabled for week 5. It'll be the 2.9 patch, the patch that just came out 4 days ago.
Crazy stuff, right? Like, that was 4 days ago.
Yeah.
It seems like she just came out. What blows me away is, like, it seems like she literally just came out. And then you think about it and you're like, no, she's been out for a week and a half, and the balance patch for her patch has
a week
released
today. A week today.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been a week
Tuesday.
today.
So yeah, so long story short, it's her balance patch came out 4 days ago, which is kind of wild. But yeah, time's flying by, man. I can't keep up with it all.
No, it's nuts, right? There's like so many moving pieces.
Or the day of the week, apparently.
Yeah.
As long as you make it to the show every week, it's okay, man.
Nothing else matters.
Right? And then also this other item, you wanna talk about that a little bit?
All right, so I just wanted to give a little shout out to Ganjagoon. He and I have started doing something called Armchair HGC. We've been doing it basically for every single week of the HGC 2018 season. It's a companion stream to the actual Blizzard Heroes stream, and we sit down, we hop on Skype, we have the cameras going, we throw it up on Twitch, we invite people to come join us in Discord or join us in Twitch chat, and basically I don't want to say we sit down and like flame the teams that are playing on the screen right at that moment.
There has been some flaming.
But there has been a little bit of flaming, like light flames. You know, we offer it with an extinguisher to cool themselves off. But what we do is basically we treat it. It's like kind of going over to someone else's house and kind of all plopping down on the sofa to watch the game, or going to the bar and sitting down and watching the game with your buddies. That's the way we treat it. It's a very casual sit down and enjoy the game together. It's been a really fun way to enjoy Heroes. It's a different, interesting perspective to kind of digest your HGC, and it's been a lot of fun as a casual way to watch it. So we're calling it Armchair HGC, where we get to armchair quarterback, so to speak, the teams when we see them doing something that we don't understand or we're trying to digest what they're doing. What happened that was really cool this past Sunday was Jay Shrite kind of just like stopped by unexpectedly and then hopped in Discord with us. Shortly after that, Yit Boss popped up in chat. And he was chatting with us, and then Hero Physio showed up, coach of LFM, and then even the owner of LFM stopped by and hopped in Discord and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then he watched the games with us. It was a lot of fun. So guys, if you have the opportunity, pay attention to basically just give me a follow on Twitter. Pay attention to my tweet schedule. We're looking to do that again this Saturday, the last cover the last HGC matches before they go on break for the Clash.
Awesome. You guys want to get into some results, or did I miss some news? It's always possible I missed some news.
Heroes has been so quiet lately. Unless I miss something, I don't think there's anything else to discuss.
All right.
I mean, I guess it might be worth mentioning that as far as the patch was concerned, in terms of how that might affect competitive, I think the only thing that really changes is, what maybe we'd see something different out of Mathael. I don't think the nerfs to Genji or the changes to Greymane are enough to take them out of the meta.
Yeah.
And Hanzo, a couple changes, but he's going to be there anyway. So I mean, the last patch, I would say, other than Maiev, was fairly unexciting, other than the methyl changes, which that I'd be interested in seeing.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with them this week, sure. Especially since we saw Malthael's solo lane a lot last week. Well, maybe not a lot, but a decent amount.
Yeah.
So, cool. All right. Well, let's get into some results.
We're going to see Stitches fall as well. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. It's a 1-for-1 trade as we once again have the Dragon Blade used on the side of Genji. He's tried that in. Dashes on, sail yellow.
That was just about the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's a dance party and you're invited.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HGC Western Clash.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to skip China because, again, nothing has changed in China. Although this is... Nope, next weekend. Man, I keep hoping they're going to start playing soon, and it's always the next weekend. It's driving me crazy. China playing next weekend, so we will get more about them next week. But we're going to go ahead and jump over to Taiwan and talk about how that went. I don't know if either of you guys got to see that tournament at all.
Nope.
I watched some of it. I did not understand a lick of what they were saying. But I did watch some of it and was impressed by Loli Meow. And yes, that is indeed the name of the team that qualified for the Eastern Clash, Loli Meow. And they won 150,000 Taiwanese dollars.
I'm impressed that they defeated Soul Torturers, which is a team we've been seeing internationally for a while from Taiwan.
Right.
I can't get over the name. It's like
right. The name is crazy.
It's just funny. I don't know. When I think of it, I think of like Loli Meowth, like the Pokemon, like
right?
Loli Meowth, and I think of the Team Rocket Meowth, which would be like the lowest of Loli Meowths. So, I don't know.
I didn't make that connection. What? Okay, I don't want. You know what? I'm gonna leave that with you. All right, buddy. Okay. All right. All right.
But long story short, it'll be nice to see a new Taiwanese team on the scene. I'm curious. Yes. They did lose. So I went through the bracket, and so I didn't get to watch it, but I did go through the bracket to kind of like figure out how it all played out. They did lose to Soul Torturers at first in the winners bracket, dropped down to the losers bracket, and had to climb their way out of there to qualify for the grand final.
Right.
And only to come back and win 3-1. So I don't know if necessarily maybe I would assume that they're better than Soul Torturers is right now, but how much? I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how they'll do at the Eastern Clash, whether like Soul Torturers has shown well. They've beaten Chinese teams, which is not a huge feat of strength anymore, but still they've shown well at these tournaments. I'm curious to see if they're just going to be like more fodder for the major regions or if they're going to do well. Because we haven't seen them. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, Taiwan, they've been beating China pretty consistently. They have until BlizzCon, they've usually been able to sneak one off an American team. I think NA was much better at BlizzCon last year, but we go back to Please Buff Arthas. We go back to I'm trying to remember. It was also PBA actually last time that beat, I think, Denial. So
yes,
they're a good region.
It was PBA.
Yeah. Sorry. I was slightly distracted by the mysterious light happening.
I'm trying to get I'm trying to help out Yip Boss saying that I look pregnant and glowing because you said I was pregnant. I'm trying to balance my lights apparently.
That's what people say about when someone's glowing, it means they're pregnant, right? Like
part of the problem is my bald head like reflects all the light. What do you want me to tell you, man? All right, so let's jump over to Korea where we have week 4 finishing up. And did anything jump out at you as crazy during week 4? We had the Blossom beating Feliz.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm going to shoot right from the hip here. Ballistics 3-1 and KSV jumps right out at me.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you what I told you last week. Tempest is king and KSV is no longer on the top of the pile. You just got to accept it, bro.
Yeah, but you also picked KSV to win that match. The only person last week that picked Ballistics was Redian. I am blown away how KSV has gone from the dominant force that they were at GCWC and BlizzCon, made 0 changes, and they're losing to Tempest and Ballistics. And not like, oh, it was a really close 3-2. No, they got swept, and it was a 3-1.
No.
I am sure Noblesse is asking himself the same questions.
Well, I live in Philadelphia, and as a very probably drunk NFL center said after a parade,
Jason Kelce,
hungry dogs run fast. I think there's some degree of that. I think Tempest. I'm very impressed with how Tempest has improved. But also, I mean, even Ballistics, I think both teams adapted to the change well. I do think that it's possible KSV kind of rested on their laurels a bit. You know, maybe it's that the meta has changed once again and KSV dominated the last meta and they haven't adapted to the new one. I mean, that's always a factor where a team can just play better at a meta because of individual style and hero pools. You know, it could be a number of factors. I mean, still, when you look at it, like the top 3 in Korea are certainly in the top 6 in the world and possibly all in like the top 4 or 5. And then from there, the other thing I would say jumped out at me was Blossom actually struggled with Feliz, who's currently near the bottom.
That surprised me as well.
But they did manage to beat Good Luck. So Good Luck actually is now 5th in Korea. They beat Miracle. So Miracle has kind of just, they started when HGC started, like there was a lot of hype on the team of like it's going to be MVP Black and MVP Miracle, top 2 every season.
Right.
And I think the first phase they finished 5th. It was really disappointing. They came back, almost got to mid-season brawl through the step ladder playoffs. And then since then, they've kind of just been getting worse. And a lot of it is MVP Miracle has kind of been a feeder team to a lot of the Tempest and Ballistics and that. Like a lot of the really good players who stood out are now on those rosters instead. So it's kind of unfortunate they've been poached that way, but they're now not it's not improbable for them to go to Crucible. I would say they're still better than Ace and Feliz, but it's not improbable.
Okay.
Well, and their record reflects that. They've beaten Ace and Feliz. They've struggled with that, with being poached. Blossom has been the beneficiary of snagging a couple of former Mighty players, and as a team have improved, so they've leapfrogged them. Right now, technically, they're tied with KSV in the standings at 4-2, but KSV does have the head-to-head matchup and a slight better map. A slightly better map score. Well, a 4-game better map score there.
Also, Blossom has to play Tempest still.
Right. So that's a hello, welcome to Korea SmackDown.
We'll see.
No, come on, man. Really? After all of this, they're 6-0, and you're still will seeing me? Like for real?
No, you said I'm will seeing the SmackDown.
Oh,
okay?
all right.
I'm will seeing the SmackDown. I don't expect Blossom to win. I just think it will be more competitive than you're giving them credit for.
All right.
I think Blossom is clearly the 4th best team in Korea, but where I say the top 3 in Korea is very good, I think there's a huge gap between 3 and 4. I mean, there is not the depth in Korea that there is in EU by a pretty reasonable margin.
I think what'll be interesting, I think for right now that is a true statement. I think for Phase 1 Part 2, Blossom potentially starts challenging KSV Black unless they figure something out.
We'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I agree with you, DB. I think it's 1, 2, 3. That's a tier. Then Blossom's in a tier all by itself, and then it's just the rest. Good Luck, Miracle, and then another tier for Team Feliz and Ace. I think there are very hard drawn lines in the sand there as far as a difference in ability.
Okay.
For Korea. So
what about EU?
All right, so EU, I think I don't want to say it's safe. I'm going to say it. Dignitas is probably, they're the best team in the world right now. They're the best team in the world right now, and I don't have a problem saying.
Hold on, but before we go into that, first I disagree. But before we go into that, let's first go over the results. Did anything jump out at you this week? You had Zealots Diamond Skin. You had Team LiQuid Dig, Fnatic Dig.
I mean, you did have Dignitas beating Fnatic like the redheaded stepchild of a rented mule. So...
Like, if that didn't surprise you, you weren't, something's wrong, because that one blew me away.
I don't say I was blown away by it. I kind of expected a 3-0. None of the games were close. Like, I mean, maybe one of them was kind of close, but...
I might be misremembering, but I don't think Fnatic got their first kill until the third game.
Yeah, the third game I think was almost, you could say, close, I think. 1 and 2 were just, like, uneventful stomps.
Yeah. Dignitas came, and I mentioned this yesterday on the Weekly Blitz. Dignitas showed up to this match amped up, ready to play and take, kick ass and take some names. And they did. They did. They took one off the chin against LiQuiud, and they didn't lose, but they dropped their first map, probably to a team they didn't expect to drop their first map to. I don't know if it was that or if it was, listen, Fnatic was the best team in the world last year for a time. They were clearly the best team in Europe, and they had Dignitas's number, except for the first Western Clash. They had Dignitas's number throughout that season. And I think Dignitas, like, they wanted a little revenge coming into this match. This is something that they had been building up to. This is the second to last week of the season. Fnatic was clearly the second best team in Europe, and they wanted to put their mark on it. They wanted to put their stamp of whatever you want to call it on it, where they said, listen, we are the best team in Europe, possibly the best team in the world.
Okay.
And we want to prove that right now.
I gotta pull you back a little bit, buddy. I gotta pull you back a little bit. First, I agree with all that you said about EU. I definitely think Dignitas is the best in Europe. No question asked, okay? I even think Dig ends up probably winning at the Western Clash. Okay? Weird stuff can happen, so I'm not going to say 100%. But, like, we don't know the matchup. We don't know the brackets. We don't know any of this, so it's hard to say they're going to win, right? But
No, it's not. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, your math says they win. So
it says they're most likely.
My looking at HOTS says they win.
Right. No, but like any given day, something weird could happen. Xaylia has like food poisoning.
Not in the best 7.
And they have to play Tempo Storm, and Xaylia is like falling over at the computer, like puking everywhere. Like, stuff happens. But
I think that happened with Snitch at mid-season brawl last year, and they still won.
It did. It definitely did. All right, but all right. So I can agree to EU. I can agree to Western Clash. I cannot agree the best in the world. And the thing that really triggers me, Bahgz, and I know you know it triggers me because that's why it's in here, is you're like, KSV is struggling. How is it that KSV is the best Korean team you want to compare Dig to right now, man?
Because they hold the belt, and that's how it works. All right, they won BlizzCon, they won GCWC, they've won the last 2 international events against the stiffest competition in the world. Until you lose the belt, you are the best team in the world.
All right, okay, all right. I think
that's my opinion on the matter.
I think if today Tempest and Dig met and played, Tempest wins. Today. What happens at mid-season brawl, we'll have to wait and see. But today, I think that's what happens.
I disagree. I think Dig would.
I disagree. I think
eat them up, chew them up, and spit them out.
All right.
Yeah. I don't think. I think it would be a close match. I think it'd be like a 3-1, 3-2. I think it'd be Dig.
Okay. Looking at the rest of this, you think everybody's basically where they should be. Dig up top, Fnatic and Method tied 4-2, LiQuiud and Zealots and Tricked 3-3 each.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this, I think, like 2 weeks ago on the show. EU is in a weird place where it's a very competitive region, but each team is distinctly better than the next one, and the standings kind of reflect that. I don't know how to explain that. It's just last year, 3-7 was a mess. It was Fnatic, it was Dig, and then 3-7 was a mess. Expert ultimately came out on top of that pile, but it was really, really competitive and really tight, and anyone could win on any given day. And that's still true to a degree, but it's like Dignitas is clearly better than Fnatic. Fnatic is clearly better than Method. Method is clearly better than LiQuiud. LiQuiud, Tricked, and Zealots.
You're getting the hand motions.
LiQuiud, Tricked, and Zealots is where it does get more competitive, but LiQuiud has already shown that they're better than those two teams. And It's just been shown through the head-to-head matchups. They beat both of them, and then Diamond Skin is clearly worse than that bunch of three, and then Leftovers is the worst of the bunch. And it's just like EU, for whatever reason, this year or this season has played out so that it is much more fragmented. Like there are very clear lines as to who's better than who. But it's still the most competitive region in the world, I would say.
I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Once again, I would say Dignitas clearly number 1, Fnatic Method clearly number 2, but I think you can actually make an argument either way, depending on, like, it really has been week to week and game to game who's played better.
Right.
Team LiQuiD has beaten the 2 teams they're with, and they also lost to Diamond Skin, so, you know, it's... Right now, I mean, head-to-head, yeah, Team LiQuiD beat Zealots and Tricked, and I think Zealots is kind of down a bit, and I think Tricked is really kind of inconsistent. I mean, Diamond Skin is not that bad of a team either. Like, they've been able to take games off of good teams. They beat Team LiQuiD. They took a map off Fnatic. You know, they're a very young team with a bit of an experience, but I think they're pretty good. The only team I would say that is not, like, in the top... probably 15 teams in the world, and I do put Diamond Skin kind of in that group, maybe like at 15th, but still up there is Leftovers. And Leftovers, I would say that they kind of benefited from some of the problems that TGG had towards the end of the season, and you know, I think they've only taken 2 maps.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's jump over to NA. Week 4 in NA.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I wanted to. So 3 of the EU teams have already qualified for the Clash because we don't have a special segment set off to the side here for DB to tackle this. So I want to tackle it while we're in the regions.
Okay.
So Korea we already know. That's why I didn't mention it. Those 4 teams have already been decided as to who's going to the Eastern Clash. But EU, that last spot is still up for grabs. LiQuiD, Tricked, and Zealots are all tied in the record. And they're for 3, like at 3-3. LiQuiD has the head-to-head, yes, but it's now map score that is more important. We never got those rules. Did you get those rules? I know you mentioned something about that.
Nobody's gotten the rules, bro.
Someone has a couple trusted sources have explained it to me.
Oh, that's good.
But I have not ever seen the PDF, so presumably it involved some type of dark rituals, which would just be egg on the face of Blizzard if they ever got out. What they did to that goat. I mean, but anyway.
It's just not, it's a crime against society.
So, all right. If you take ELO into account and you simulate, so 3 of the games in Europe matter this week. Diamond Skin Leftovers doesn't matter. It does not affect anything. But then you take, okay, there's 6 outcomes every game. 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 2-3, 1-3, 0-3. So that's 216 possibilities, but some are more likely than others, right? Like Zealots 3-0ing Dignitas probably isn't going to happen. So when you simulate that out, Team LiQuID still favored 86-17, and that's because 1, they're ahead on map margin. They're at neutral on map margin. They're 0.
Right.
They won as many as they lost. Tricked is -1. Zealots is -2.
Right.
If they tie any or even both of Tricked and Zealots on map score, they go based on head-to-head.
But they have to tie, right?
If they tie on map score.
Right.
So keep in mind, if possible, if they win 3-2, they don't go to Western Clash. If they were to beat Fnatic 3-2, if Tricked were to beat Method 3-0, Tricked would leapfrog them and take the position. Right. So it's not enough just to win unless they win 3-1. If they win 3-1 or 3-0, then, you know, we're done. You know, everyone gets to go home early for the weekend. I mean, not everyone, but at least, you know, me, I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right.
Team LiQuID's going. If they get 3-1, because at that point, the best that can happen is Trick ties them.
Right.
By winning 3-0, but then they lose head-to-head.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're not Team LiQuID, you want Team LiQuID to lose the Fnatic 0-3. So likely all 3 teams lose. Because we didn't talk about their opponents, but LiQuID's playing Fnatic, which is probably the most likely upset. Tricked is playing Method, and Zealots is playing Dignitas. So they're all playing the next 3 teams, 4 through 6, are playing 1 through 3. And so the advantage there is to LiQuiud on the sense that they're both the most likely to win their series, just going off ELO, but also even if they lose, they have that 1 map advantage. So it can come down to map score. So it actually matters for LiQuiud, even if they don't win the match, to win games. Like an 0-3 would be devastating. A 2-3, they'd probably be okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the map score really does matter here. So that's the thing to kind of watch out for, is even if there are losses, like if Team LiQuiud loses 0-3 and Tricked loses 2-3, advantage Tricked.
Right.
They're now -2, but Team LiQuiud is -3. You know.
Well, on the real, like, I got to pour one out for my homies and zealots, because as much as I wish they had a chance, the only way, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the only way they get in is if they 3-0 Dignitas, right?
So they don't necessarily have to. No, they don't have to 3-0. No.
Okay.
So let's. All right, they're -2, right?
Yep.
So if they have to beat Dignitas, if they don't beat Dignitas, they're done. But let's say they win 3-2. So then they go to -1 as their map score.
Right.
Team LiQuid then, if they lose 1-3, they would be -2. If they lose 0-3, they'd be -3. If Tricked loses 2-3, they'd be -2.
Well, if one of them wins and the other 2 lose, then the winner's automatically anyway, right?
No,
right.
That's straight away the case.
Yeah,
and Zealots has to win.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if they win, they're in anyway. If they win 3-0 and Team LiQuid wins 3-2, then they still wouldn't be in, because then they would be even on map score with LiQuid. LiQuid takes the head-to-head.
Right.
So they even if they win 3-0, they don't control their own destiny. And basically, it's a situation where they really need to win they need to win to get in at all. If they lose 2-3, they're done. It doesn't matter what else happens.
Right.
But any winning situation, it still doesn't control their own destiny.
Okay. Other questions, Bahgz, or you want to go on to NA?
I just wanted to ask before we pivot away from it. So I thought it was really interesting. Kind of plays out like a playoff bracket. Like, so like the 6th seed is playing the 1 seed, and so on and so forth. The 5 seed is playing the 2 seed, and and the 3 seed is or do I have it backwards? I do. It's not quite perfect, but it's close.
It's close.
So I thought that was interesting. What I do want to ask is your guys' opinion on the matter. So how do you feel about map score being more important than head-to-head? Because I believe last year it was head-to-head that was more important.
I actually support map score over head-to-head personally. I think that's more important.
Why? I guess I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
I will explain this through a story. So at the end, in Phase 2, approaching the Western Clash, there was a table that had like a ridiculous number of rows. It was, and the esports coordinator at the time, it was CC Matt McNeil. Shared it with me because I was confused over how the tiebreaker, because the head-to-head tiebreaker was not, whenever you had more than 2 teams, it was really awkward and when it applied and when it didn't. And so I got to look at this to make sure my model matched up the simulation. And so all my simulations up until yesterday were actually using last year's model, because I only found out about it yesterday that it had changed. And it was something like, because of the head-to-head at play, and because there were a lot of weird triangles at that point, because remember, like, at this point last season, it was Fnatic was or this point, Phase 2 of last year.
Right.
Fnatic was undefeated and just way ahead of everyone.
Misfits.
No, not Phase 1, Phase 2.
Phase 2.
Oh, sorry.
Phase 2 was Fnatic.
Phase 1. Phase 1 actually was very easy, because it was Misfits 1, I think Fnatic 2, Dignitas 3, or maybe getting 2 and 3 backwards. But I'm talking Phase 2. So this was in the summer. And it was like 4 teams had 3 losses. heading into the final week. And so, and there was a weird situation that because of the head-to-head, like one team wanted to win either 3-0 or 3-2, but if they won 3-1, like it could potentially make their chances worse.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I'm not even joking about this. It was insanely bizarre. And so if map score lets us avoid that, I am in favor of it.
I remember all the tweets.
5 minutes of Python to change it. So yeah.
I remember all the tweets that were going on when you and Steve were going over that last year, and it was crazy because it was like, how are you supposed to figure out who's going to win? Right? It was bizarre.
It was not. It was a weird time in my life.
I do want to thank both the Real Sophist for passing that information along to Patrick at ESV Diamond, the global esports manager for Ballistics Gaming, who was asking the questions that triggered this is the new tiebreaker scenario, so that people that are not actually on an HGC team actually had some insight into what rules were coming up for the tiebreakers, because prior to that tweet, nobody knew.
Yeah, I mean, it matters substantially in the sense that if it were last year's system and head-to-head mattered, then technically speaking, Method and Fnatic would not have clinched. Now they'd be like 99.5% chance, but they hadn't clinched, and I could create a scenario. But now that game score matters, you know, Fnatic and Method, and in my opinion, Fnatic and Method, you know, I mean, if you look at the map score and if you look at the play, they're just better. So. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Boss. I mean, all right. So now I'm nervous because maybe I'm wrong again.
No, because it was really clear. That tweet was really clear. Okay. Really clear about like 1, 2, 3. Here is the tiebreakers. It's cut off in the rule book. I don't even know what's going on anymore. This is a mess. All right. We now know the tiebreakers, so we hope, right? We assume that we got past the right information about the tiebreakers, and that's what we're going with.
Who's running the copying machine over there in Blizzard Entertainment? Because I need to have a conversation with them, because this is ridiculous.
Anyway, let's assume that it goes, obviously, match score. Match wins are the most important.
Right.
Then game score, then head-to-head, then number of 3-0s, then number of 3-1s. Number of 3-2s doesn't matter. So, all right. Let's assume that's the order of things. In that situation, Team LiQuiD 86.17% chance to go to Western Clash. Trick 12.3. Zealots is playing Dignitas 1.53, and I think that's optimistic.
The schedule crushed them, man. The schedule crushed them.
Oh, rip! Boss getting served by Nightbot.
That's all right. I'm gonna help him out and paste that image for him.
Okay.
I got you, buddy.
It wouldn't be an episode of Trollin HGC.
Oh my God!
It is game record. Number 2 is
get
very
smacked down by
Night
Plus.
All right, this is going live right now. Thank you, my friend. It is literally cut off. It's 100% cut off.
It is very clearly game record, and I'm going to assume head-to-head's below that, but that was a change that. I think there were players wanted head-to-head to matter a lot, but I think other players wanted game score, and then game score just makes the whole thing easier. Like, I can look at it now and figure it out, whereas I had to sit there for just hours playing around with my data sheets to figure out all the scenarios, just because of how convoluted head-to-head can make things.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
I'm not sad that they're gone.
Here's what I like about it, and what I like about it is it makes every single map matter. You can't have a team kind of come in that's all right. So like, say LiQuiD they were tied with those other 3 teams, but say for whatever reason they were playing leftovers this week, and they could just kind of like, it doesn't matter. Like if it was just match record, it was like, all right, we got to win, but it doesn't matter by like how much we win. We just got to win. So like kind of like take it easy and like kind of coast to that 3-2 victory or 3-1 victory. No, they would want to be right now. If they were playing leftovers, they would want to shoot for the 3-0. They're not just trying to win. They're trying to win handily because they want to put some distance between them and the other 2 teams. So I kind of like it in that respect. It also makes it a lot, like you said, like you went on to elaborate about, DB, is it makes it very simple. You can look at it and say, hey, these teams are tied 3-3, 3-3, 3-3, 3-3. And even though you don't have to kind of go digging through the history of the schedule and be like, who beat who. You can just look at the map score, which is posted right there on the right, and they're like, oh, well, they have a better map record, so that's why.
Yeah, which makes sense. All right. Anything else before I bring us over to NA?
No, let's dive into this disaster.
All right.
NA. NA. All right. So, this is... I have a picture of, like, you know, the snake forming the infinity symbol where it's eating its own tail? Like, I feel like that's kind of where we are, and, like, you could put the teams around that snake, and it's just craziness. We did have Heroes Hearth beating Simplicity 3-1, and Space Station Gaming beating Team Freedom 3-1, which was amazing for Space Station Gaming. They've been struggling lately. Then we had Team 12 beat Team Freedom 3-2. So, Daz, they're Bahgz. I keep doing that, man. I'm really sorry. But your boys are getting, like, crushed, man. Crushed. What's going on with that?
There we go. Oh, wait, hang on.
He's back.
Yes, baby.
Back.
What?
Yeah, you're here. You're here.
You're back.
All right.
Wait, was I gone?
Oh, yeah,
you
were.
Oh,
like,
man.
Stream's down. Oh, wait. No, here you are. Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
It should be up. It should be up.
Let's NA production. Yeah. You know what it is? We start transitioning and to talk about NA, and the internet crashed.
And the internet crashed.
Like we NA lulled our own show. Jeez,
someone needed to make a phone call. It ruined his dial-up. Anyway,
that's crazy. All right, no, we're definitely live again. All right, I'm sorry, people. All right, so the craziness happened. I don't know what you guys heard and what you didn't, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Yeah. Heroes Hearth beating Simplicity, Space Station beating Team Freedom, then Team 12 beating Team Freedom, like ruining. Did I just drop again? What the? Hello? Squad? Oh my god. The internet's breaking. You hear me? Yes. Squad? Hello? Oh, man.
Background? That is like a floating ghost head.
All right.
Hey,
okay, there it is.
We're going to try this again, and if it crashes again, Bahgz, we might switch to you hosting the rest of the stream.
I am not prepared, but I will try.
Yeah.
Because it's... All right. So I guess I can't talk bad about NA. So
because every time you do, someone cuts off your internet.
Right? I have nothing to say about NA. Go for it, guys. Tell me what people missed.
Yeah. I mean, there was this tiny, kind of minuscule upset of Space Station Gaming beating Team Freedom 3-1. Which, that was kind of... Oh, no, it's... Oh, wait, no, your head's moving. Okay, we're still good. Yeah. No, Team Freedom actually ended up having a pretty rough weekend. I mean, they had Space Station Gaming, which, in the power rankings and that had been pretty far down there. I think they were in 8th.
Yep.
And they managed, I mean, they looked really good in that series. Or Team Freedom looked bad. I didn't watch it closely enough to tell, just because I was drinking at the time. But then they came out and they looked like, okay, we have it back together against Team 12. Dominant game 1, dominant game 2, and then reverse sweep. And so Team Freedom, they only had to win one of those matches, and they clinched. And now they've actually dropped. There's technically a possibility they don't
even
Western
go, right?
Oh, it's possible. Same with Team 12. I'll talk about that later. So it was a pretty upsetting weekend for them. The game, I'm not going to lie, I'm still a Gale Force fan. I know. Make fun of me in chat. Go ahead. But I'm still a Gale Force fan. I was very happy with their performance against Heroes Hearth. Yep. I don't know what they were... like. I guess it was a form of Juice Pirates on Volskaya, but it it did not work at all. It gave us... I mean,
we talked about that too.
I think that was like a yakety sax cut over that entire game and speed the game up a bit so it looks like Benny Hill show kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that would be exact. Oh, Juice Pirates, for those who don't know, it's basically Morales, Tyrael, and then a bunch of siege damage. And what you do is you all hop into a medevac and you all go and just sacrifice the team to get an early keep. And then the second you have the chance to backdoor the core, you do it. And because some people are saying the core is particularly weak right now, given how much siege damage there is out there, there's a chance that it could work. But usually it helps when you actually kill a keep and not wipe on it when it has 2% health. And then don't try to race when you don't have the keep yet. Like that, it was a very niche strategy. I didn't think they got the early game that they were hoping with the Zarya. And we're spending all this time talking about one game, which didn't matter. It was the only win Heroes Hearth got. Gale Force looked really good, I thought, in the rest of the series. In the other 3 games, I thought they looked fantastic.
So we talked about that on Armchair on Sunday, and it was like they were up 1-0 at the time. It was the second map, and we're like, that's like a strategy you pull out when your back's against the wall, or maybe they were up 2-0. I can't remember.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? Like they picked, if I remember correctly, they picked the map and they wanted to run it.
No, Heroes Hearth picked the map. Heroes Hearth picked the map.
All right.
It's Heroes Hearth picked the map, and Ganja mentioned it. I guess the argument is maybe they just weren't comfortable with that map, so they just kind of threw it out there.
Right.
But it just, to me, it was like you're up in the series. Why? It's like,
well, because you can, right?
I can't.
You're up in the series
because every map matters if you're trying to qualify for the Clash.
Yeah.
Why piss a game away?
Yeah.
So
I think honestly that may have been something they practiced, and just because, like, Heroes Hearth will take teams to Volskaya. I am trying to think of any other team that like picks Volskaya like early in a map rotation. And I don't think there is one in NA or EU. I don't think we've even seen Volskaya in EU. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think we've seen a single game there.
We have.
And
not many.
We have not many. Okay. So I think it could have worked if they were able to get some really good early game pressure, because anytime you're doing that with Zarya, like if you get the fort down early and then you can take the keep like as soon as you get level 10s, okay, now you can backdoor literally any point level 10. But the problem was they didn't get that early advantage, and then by the time they actually had the chance to do it, they were already down levels. They then didn't get the keep. But honestly, I mean, if they got the keep on that one push, like, do you know what I'm talking about, where they flew bot, they tried to get keep, and they like it had like 10% health, they could have actually pulled it off, because the reason they lost the core race was because they had to get the keep first. Once they got on the core and they got the shields down, their burn velocity was much higher with the Greymane Zarya.
Right.
It's just that because they had to spend time getting the keep and then walk to the core, it didn't work. I don't think it was. I think it was a little clown fiesta. Obviously, the strat. It was super cheese, but I don't think it's as ill-conceived as people wanted to think it was.
All right.
Apologist for GFE here.
Well, I think it was unnecessary, but if what you're saying is correct, that was something that they had practiced and then they had found success with, then that would make sense that they just wanted to pull it out and they thought they'd get the quick W out of it.
Yip Boss has like Zarya needed to get aggro on the keep right away. Right, that's the whole point to Zarya being at comp. So the keep fills the shields, and then Zarya does crazy damage, and the keep's not hitting Greymane, which at the point it was hitting Greymane.
Right. I mean that's a problem too.
Yeah.
Because I've never thought about who drops out of medevac first. Is it like a stack where it's the last person to get in? Is it random?
It's not random.
Does anyone know? Is it like a stack? Is it like a queue? I mean, I imagine it's one of the two. It's either first in, last out, or first in, first out.
It's one of those.
It's obviously
two.
not first in, first out, because Morales never drops out first.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, they still won the series, and they had to win it. If they had lost, 100% they're done. 100%.
No, it was a huge matchup for them, but it was a huge matchup for both of them, because now it makes this weekend really interesting for both teams.
Well, now you're sitting at both teams at 3-3 with a relatively close map record.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, GFE still has to look back at their loss to LFM. If they hadn't lost to LFM earlier in the season,
they'd be going.
They are almost certainly in the Clash at this point.
Yeah,
because they would have, They'd be ahead
LFM
of
playing
Tempo,
spoiler.
Yeah.
They took a map off Tempo also this weekend. So shout out to Hero Physio and crew. They getting the job done. I mean, unfortunately they were 3-0'd by Simplicity also this weekend, where we all predicted them to win last week. So little egg on our face.
That
we also
didn't work out.
We also predicted Heroes Hearth to win. A little bit more egg on our face in that respect. NA is so unpredictable. I wrote that in the notes. It's consistently inconsistent. We all thought Team Freedom coming into this weekend was the best team in North America. They had beaten Tempo Storm. They had been playing really well. And, losing to Team 12, not a big deal, but losing to Space Station Gaming 3-1, just what's going on? Like, I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch Team Freedom play this week, and I had work on both of those days. So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm like the good luck charm. It was the first Team Freedom match I lost. I missed all week, all year.
Oh, man.
And that's what happened. I don't know, man. But it's just, what a region. What a region. It's a lot of fun to follow. I love NA. So looking at North America here, there are two teams that are still have a chance to go to the Western Clash. That's Gale Force and Heroes. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, there's 4 teams. There's only one team that's qualified. Let me take a step back.
Take a deep
Tempo
breath.
Storm is the only team to have qualified for the Clash from North America. That means there are 3 spots up for grabs between 4 teams. And the seeding for North America isn't set either, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now because
Tempo Storm could lose the 1 seed, yes.
Correct.
If they lost, yes.
So 1 through 4 is still all up for grabs in North America. So I don't know if you have done any prep for this DB, but can you break that down for us a little bit? Yeah.
Here it comes.
Okay, I'm going to take over the cast for the next 30 minutes. Here we go.
Let's hear it,
all right, so what I'm talking about, I am just not even caring about seeding. If you get to Poland, you get to Poland. I don't care if you have to ride in the cargo hold. You get to
Fair enough.
Tempo Storm is going to Poland, and probably not in the cargo hold. All right. If Team Freedom wins at least 2 games, they don't have to win the set. If they win at least 2 games, they lose 2-3, they're in. They win, they're in. If they lose 1-3 or 0-3, that opens up, and I'll talk about that because it's almost a carbon copy for Team 12. If you look, they have the same map margin. They have the same record. So basically what I say about Team Freedom is almost the same for Team 12. Team 12, they win 2 games against Space Station. They're in. Period. Doesn't matter. They're in. Additionally, they can still get in if they lose 0-3 or 1-3. It just, crazy things can happen if they lose 0-3 or 1-3. So they're at +5 right now. If they lose 0-3, they go to +2. They go to +3. If you look, Gale Force and Heroes Hearth are both. Oh wait, I didn't have this in my notes. They are at both
+1 rather.
+1.
Yep.
Okay, so if either, let's say Team Freedom loses, they drop to +2. Gale Force at +1 would only need to win would need to win 1-3 to gain 2 points to move above them, because they do lose the head-to-head.
Okay, I have a question before you get. Do we know if it's map differential or map score?
It's the same thing.
Well, but winning 13 maps versus winning 12 maps?
Oh no, I see what you're. No, it is differential.
Okay.
At least it was last year.
Okay.
If they've changed that, then I am done and I'm retiring, and I'm just going back to work because I am not playing Python again. I believe it is. I hope it is differential. Differential makes the most sense to me.
Right.
Just because, then you. Anyway, I'm assuming it's differential.
Okay.
Not number of wins.
Okay. Thank you.
And in fact, I'm pretty sure of that, because if it were number of wins looking at it, then Team Freedom and Team 12 would almost, I think one of them would be guaranteed. I think. I'm not certain on that. That's right, because of the head-to-head with Heroes Heart. Maybe anyway. I'm going to assume it's differential. RIP. Okay. So, here is how either Team Freedom or Team 12 loses. They lose 1-3 or 0-3, and then both, not either, both, Gale Force and Heroes Hearth pass them in the number of wins. Okay, it is mathematical difference.
Yeah.
Thank you, boss. All right, so both Gale Force and HHE have to pass them in map differential.
Okay.
Because keep in mind, 4 teams are going. So the only way to drop out is to fall below both Gale Force and HHE. Because of their win total, they can't fall below Simplicity, who's still alive. We'll get there. I swear to God they're alive. We'll get there.
What?
But, yes. Okay, so that's basically the same for Team 12. The one difference is Team Freedom beat both, or Team Freedom, because of their head-to-head win over Gale Force. They both have a head-to-head win over Gale Force. One of them, I think, did Heroes Hearth beat both of them? No, Heroes Hearth lost to Team Freedom, right?
Yes.
Yes, I just want to make sure of that. That's the difference. Because Heroes Hearth beat Team 12, technically Team 12 could end up in a 3-way tie with Gale Force and Heroes Hearth and Team 12. And at that point, I can't remember what happens. It might go to sudden death there. I can't remember. I simulated out that scenario, and I'm actually just drawing a blank at the moment. Oh, no, wait, no. Heroes Hearth beat both. Sorry. Heroes Hearth beat both, so they would go, and then Team 12 beat Gale Force, so they would go. So if it's a triangle tie in those 3 teams, Team 12, Heroes Hearth, Gale Force, then Gale Force loses, and if it's Heroes Hearth, Team Freedom, Gale Force, then I think Gale Force wins, because in that case, Team Freedom would be second. And
right.
So Team 12, yeah. Anyway, all right, it's complicated, so we're getting there. There's a slight advantage to Team Freedom. They're slightly more likely. Both of these teams are above 99% in simulation chances to get the clash. Heroes Hearth is at 80%, Gale Force at 21%. Why? Because Gale Force has to play Tempo Storm, Heroes Hearth has to play LFM. So even though Gale Force just beat Heroes Hearth, because of the remaining schedule, Gale Force is at a disadvantage. It's much less likely that they beat Tempo Storm than Heroes Hearth beats LFM. So it's probably going to be, and based on all 3 of our predictions for each game, Tempo Storm, Team 12, Team Freedom, Heroes Hearth. With Gale Force.
Yes! That's what I want.
But here's what it comes down to.
Yep.
The map wins matter. So Gale Force, this is actually why Gale Force is at a bigger disadvantage. Even if they pull the upset against Tempo Storm, it's not enough. Because, again, map margin matters. And in that case, even if Gale Force 3-2 beats Tempo Storm, if Heroes Hearth 3-0s or 3-1s LFM, they're above them. And then it could potentially come down to a 3-way tie scenario that I've talked about before, depending on what happens with Team Freedom and Team 12. Literally all 4 games matter, by the way. So 1,296 possibilities. A small subset of them,
not at all.
A very small subset of them have Simplicity going to the clash. So now, let me explain how this happens.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Okay. First off, if Simplicity goes, the only way they go is if Tempo Storm, Team Freedom, and Team 12 go. So Simplicity could be in the cargo hold in this case.
Okay.
It would be the 4th seed, but they can go. Here's how it happens.
Okay.
If they win 3-0 over Team Freedom, and Gale Force and HHE both lose 1-3 or 0-3, they are in.
Okay.
If they win 3-1 over Team Freedom and GFE and HHE are swept, they lose 0-3, then they are in. The Aristocrats.
Probably not going to happen.
Simplicity doesn't have to win 3-0. If they win 3-1, it's still doable.
But the other 2 teams have to 0-3.
Yeah, they have to 0-3.
Yeah. So, what do your percentages look like?
Okay. So as I said, Tempo Storm 100, Team 12 99.09, Team Freedom 99.07. So within a margin of error, they're equal.
Right.
It's within a margin of error. There's no statistical difference.
So 99% chance for my boys to make it to Poland.
Heroes Hearth 80.23 again because they have the easier match.
Yep.
Gale Force 21.29. Simplicity 1/3%.
So
not 33%.
0.03
of 8%.
0.3 repeating.
0.33, yeah. Well, not necessarily repeating.
Forever?
It's just
Well,
it's not a third chance. This is all Monte Carlo stuff. So it's
Right.
I mean, there's always a margin of error. But
Right.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So that is NA.
A third of a percent. So
third
you're
of a
saying
percent.
there's a chance. That's what boys at Simplicity is saying right now.
The planets have to align, and everybody has to do what they need them to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So then, I'm ready to move on. I
am as well.
That's impressive work, DV, as always.
All right. Well, so next up we have the ANZ Premier League, which the qualifiers just finished.
Qualifier, the qualifier for the Premier League.
Well, yeah. So yes, the qualifier for the Premier League. Yes. I'm trying to find the right place. Here we go. No, the qualifier ended. The qualifier just finished. Yep. They literally tweeted out like 3 minutes ago that the qualifier has finished. And so the ANZ Premier League is these 8 teams I'm showing on screen now. Oh, nope. Yeah, they did it. QM Warriors, Downfall Gaming, Nekomimi, Rich Gang E-Thugs, Crimson, GoGo Next, Outlaws Gaming, and Nomia are the 8 teams that will be participating in the ANZ Premier League.
When does that start, actually? I didn't look at that. That should be starting soon, right?
The date for that...
Currently no text on this page, so that's not it.
No, so the date for that...
Start date 2/26. I just found it. It's right here.
No.
Yep, 2/26.
Sweet.
And
that's
ending
run
5/12. Well, because that's going to send to... then they have to play Latin America for the chance at...
You know what it is? So they have, yes, the winner of that's they're gonna go play the winner of the Copa America. I just wish Copa America was right. I wish Copa America was set up the same way. I really like what they did with ANZ, where it's gonna be very similar to Gold League, basically. Right. It's just I wish they would have done that with Copa America. I don't quite know why they didn't. Maybe it's just different because it's not. I don't think it's run by Blizzard, right? It's probably Oh no, it says
ANZ is run by Blizzard, and
it says it right now. Organized.
I think the main reason is there is a growing video game market. So Australia is weird because video games are still like really frowned upon. It's like in a lot of ways because I've talked to other grad students when I was there at international conferences. About like ANZ, and they've talked about how video games there, the way they describe it, it reminds me of like the way video games were perceived in like the early 90s in the United States, where it's like, oh, only lazy fat people play video games. You'll never have a girlfriend if you play video games. You'll never, accomplish anything in life. It's still very much pervasive there. And then also but even still that's changing. Right. And so the audience is growing because the fact is, there is the wealth there to support that industry. Whereas in South America, there's still a lot of, in South and Latin America, there's still a lot of developing countries. There is a big gaming scene in Brazil, but and in Chile and to some extent in a few other countries, but
Bolivia.
It's still not there.
Right.
And I think that's probably why that's the case. And maybe I'm completely wrong on the numbers, but I think that probably has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
It's also just physically a much smaller space, whereas Latin America is, citation needed bigger than Australia.
Right.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. I don't want to say I don't think I have OCD, but for like simplicity's sake, I just wish it was the same.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and so do the Latin American players, dude. I like it.
Oh yeah.
So we scrim. My open division team scrims 6 cents all the time, and so I talk to their manager all the time, and it's like Latin American scene is rough, dude.
I believe Vieira just retired. Actually, I was
yeah,
on
right.
Yeah,
It's just it's ugly. And it's hard because Blizzard's not running it, and right now I'm going blank because we're talking about it, so I can't remember the name of the org that is running it. But you know, it's rough, and if you're a player down there, it's hard to make it ends meet, and until Blizzard does what they're doing in ANZ, it's going to be the same way. So yeah.
It's like a catch-22. We've talked about it before, though. If it's not going to make money, then why do it, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, ultimately, one of the biggest hurdles that esports has yet to clear is that, you know, there's only one way to play baseball. There's like 3 ways to play football, but for most of the world, it's one, and for America, it's one, and for Canada, it's another, and that's, you know, separate case. But in esports, it's like, oh, I mean, let's just look at MOBAs.
Right.
I mean, there are still people who watch Smite tournaments, and yet, you know, we'll talk about it. And no, seriously though, Bahgz, you kind of chuckle at that. Realize that eventually, whether we like it or not, someone doing a podcast for the next, you know, maybe not MOBA, but whatever trend gets popular, is going to say, like, there are still people who watch Heroes of the Storm tournaments. And, you know, you'll do that little chuckle, and then some bald jackass who's elitist will make the same point I'm making now. And that is that not every game is going to find the success that Overwatch and League of Legends has.
Right.
And Overwatch and League of Legends are the outliers, and there's a reason for that. And Heroes of the Storm is doing very well relative to other esports, and we still don't break 20,000 people watching HGC live.
Which is crazy to me.
I mean, no, but that's a good number when you're talking about esports. But again, like, compare that to, you know, WVU basketball last night playing TCU. Like, I tuned in to watch that. That was on ESPN2. That got probably in the neighborhood of at least 250,000 watching. I mean, that's me attempting to lowball and be conservative. And so esports is still growing, but as a result of that, not every game is going to catch on, no matter how much people like it. Heroes, I'm very happy with how it's doing, and from what I can understand, the game seems to be in a growth phase still. Not as maybe dramatic as immediately after 2.0, but still growing, which I'm happy with. But at the same time, we should be realistic that this is still not, I think, a big enough game that it's just, you can throw it anywhere in the world and it's going to be profitable for Blizzard to do it. Because keep in mind, ultimately, what is esports? It's advertising. It's advertising for Heroes of the Storm. And it's very good advertising, and I love that advertising. It's my favorite kind of advertising. But it's advertising. The goal is to draw customers in, to get people to buy skins, to get people to play the game.
Absolutely. All right, man, you want to do some meta notes?
I just want to talk about kind of like something I noticed with the 3 major regions, not including China, which is on break right now.
Okay.
How they've all kind of developed a different warrior meta. So NA loves ETC. In particular, like, almost they really like Tyrael, but to like a weird degree, they absolutely love ETC. He has an 88% popularity rate according to Master League. That's a pick and ban. He has a 52% pick rate. So we're seeing him in over half the games right now in North American HGC to the tune of a 62% win rate. So he's seen a lot of success in North America. EU is different. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. It's an extremely diverse meta over there right now. They literally have 6 warriors. And when I say warriors, people that can be used as a solo tank in a composition within a 20% pick rate of each other. Muradin, ETC, Tyrael, Anubarak, Arthas, and Blaze are all within 20% pick rate of each other, which is amazing. So there's a very, very large diversity there on you. And Korea has shifted in a different direction. They're playing a ton of Anubarak. It's the #1 most played warrior in Korea right now, with a 72% popularity rate, a 47% pick rate, and then a 63% win rate. So he is the ETC of Korea. Just kind of, they went in a completely different direction. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And that's what I wanted to bring to the table tonight with the meta notes.
Cool. Okay.
Let's look ahead at next week.
Let's look ahead at next.
while playing some sweet clips.
You want me to stay with the clips? I can stay with the clips for you while we do next week. Let's do next week.
Yeah.
We need a bumper for preview.
Mm-hmm.
We should add that to our bumper list.
Okay. I'm down. I will work on it.
Awesome. All right, let's go next week. So only 2 days worth of matches this weekend, Friday and Saturday. And then everybody gets a week off for prep for Clash and travel and all that stuff. And then we jump into clashes.
Actually, Korea's not playing this weekend because of the Korean New Year. They're playing. So the 4 remaining games in Korea aren't played until the following Friday. So not this Friday, but next Friday.
Well, shoot.
Right?
Yeah. No. I mean, not to say we shouldn't talk about. I'm just saying that
but they're next weekend.
That was something I should have caught.
You know what? Well, I was so used to.
Well, when I was putting together the preview, it's something I should have caught.
Right, but the problem is the text isn't like called bright out, like oh my god, like text, right?
Yeah, just it's under week 5 on their website.
Right.
So you look at it, and
you're
unless
like,
you
week
look
5.
at the dates, you just don't think about it. Yeah.
Right.
But it
right.
is. I just know it's the Korean New Year because a coworker is married to a Korean woman, so that's
awesome.
why. That's the only reason I know.
That's okay. I'll take it because now we know. So I won't. We're gonna cover the Korean games, but Korean games will be next weekend. That will be on the 23rd and 24th. Mm-hmm. So Korea starting off with Tempest versus Blossom. Now Bahgz has this in as a 3-1 because Bahgz loves Blossom and hates Tempest.
Hate's a strong word. Love is too. We'll say I like Blossom, and I am not I have my reservations about Tempest.
All right, I'll take that. But both DB and I went 3-0 with Tempest sweeping Blossom. I think it'll be interesting to see if Blossom pulls out some weird strategy, but Tempest is riding high, man. Tempest is riding high.
Yeah, a lot of momentum. And again, I think the gap between 3rd and 4th in Korea is astronomical.
And then at 6 o'clock on, again, the 23rd, we have G-Luck versus Ballistics. I can't bring myself to call him Gluck. I just can't do it. Bahgz, you picked 1-3. Ballistics taking that win, but dropping a map. Both DB and I say Ballistics sweeps 3-0s.
I'm confident in my picks here in Korea. I believe that Gluck will I don't know, get some of that GLiQuid Gluck going. And
well, it's just supposed to be good luck, and they shortened it to be cool.
They definitely did something with it.
And it's GLiQuid's last name, right? So it's funnier that way. So they'll get some of that GLiQuid Gluck going, and maybe
run some Brightwing comps.
Exactly, and they're going to pick up a win there. No, but seriously, of all the teams that came in from the amateur scene, they are the best. They've shown themselves to be better than Miracle. Yeah. I think they have what it takes to at least take a map. They might get 3-0'd. You guys might be right, and I might be tossing away that bonus point, but I think they're going to grab it.
All right, fair enough. And then heading into Europe at noon Friday, we have Dignitas versus Zealots. Man, I love my boys Zealots, but I'm sorry, this one's going to be a 3-0, and you guys both agree with me. Dig is just going to smoke them.
I will add one reservation.
Okay.
Phase 2, heading into it. Heading into the MSB.
Yep.
Fnatic had been dominant.
Yep.
Absolutely dominant. They were clear. They were already locked number 1 seed. They were 6-0. I'm not even sure if they dropped the map. They lost to Diamond Skin, then playing Ducks in the last week. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. It can happen, but that doesn't mean it will happen. That's just,
Right. It's always possible, right? We always say any given day, any team can beat another team. Things happen. So there's always that possibility. However unlikely.
Yeah.
And then at 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday, we have Method playing Tricked. Bahgz, you have Method winning 3-1. DB, you have the same. I went a different road, and this is. Go ahead.
See that.
I'm looking for points.
This is the first time I'm seeing this. Okay, I can't Can you justify that pick?
Yes. This is my wild card. I'm behind in the standings, and I need to win points somehow. This is the game I chose for that. So, yes, that is why I went this direction.
I'm actually going to change mine after the fact to 3-0 method. No. I'm not involved in the standings or anything.
Right.
But I think method played so freaking well the last couple weeks. I think they've had their growth period to come together, and I think Tricked has not improved consistently, and I think Method has.
Okay.
I'll go 3-0.
I do agree that more than likely this is Method's game to win. I'm legitimately using this because I think there is a possibility of the 3-2 happening, of it going 5 and it being something weird like Method's having an off weekend or whatever. This is my roll the dice for points. Straight up, that's all it's for. All right, then we get to NA on Friday, and that's 5 o'clock. We have 5 p.m. Eastern. Team Freedom versus Simplicity. Now, Bahgz and I both have this game picked as a 3-1 going to Freedom, and DBSmiley, you have it as a 3-0 going to Freedom. I think we can all agree that unless Freedom falls off a truck and hits their head, they should win this game.
I don't want to go that far, but I would go as far as to say that I have the entire season not gotten why people think Simplicity has a huge ton of potential. And that's not meant to be mean to the members, but I sit here at the end of phase 1 and I think, why are we still hype on them?
If you've watched the show,
I don't get it.
Over the last couple of weeks, anybody out there that's watched the show, I do not think highly of Simplicity. And in fact, last week I went a little hard on them because I don't understand either. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't get it. Yes. I'm just going to leave it at that because it's just, I have nothing else to say. Then the last NA game we have on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern-ish, right? Tempo Storm versus GFE. Bahgz and I both have 3-1 for this, and DB, you're at 3-2, so you think this will be a close one?
I think that Tempo Storm has been at times brilliant and at times, not to say bad, but not great. And I think GFE has started to get hot. I still have a lot of concerns about B-Kid not getting picked off in the solo lane, or maybe I should say B-Kid getting picked off is the concern.
Right.
But I don't know. Something's telling me 3-2. I think when GFE's backs to the wall, they tend to at least come out and take it to 5 games, even when they don't win. I mean, you go back to, they lost the playoff to go to MSB, and they lost the playoff to go to BlizzCon, but I believe they lost both 3-2.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and then Saturday, not to be confused with this Saturday, but Saturday the 23rd when Korea plays, because was it Korean New Year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can call it the Lunar New Year, which kind of covers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's technically a little bit different, but anyway.
So, Team Ace versus Feliz. I actually agree with DB with his comment. Who cares? But I need the points.
I care. Somebody needs to know. We need to know who the bottom team in Korea is. I care, and I believe
we know who it is.
I don't.
It's Team Ace. But Team Ace playing Feliz. Both Bahgz and I have Feliz winning that 3-2. And then, I guess, the moment of Bahgz hoping that his team can redeem themselves is a 6 a.m. Eastern game, KSV versus Miracle. Actually, I agree with Bahgz and DB. They're going to win that game. Bahgz has them winning 3-1, and DB and I both have them winning 3-0.
You've watched Miracle, right? This is BM Smiley. I dropped the DB and added BM.
And added the B.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't see Miracle winning a map there either, buddy. But that's okay. I mean, the more you get the map wins wrong, the more points I can get right. So I got to catch you somehow, man. Over in Europe at noon on Saturday, we have Leftovers versus Diamond Skin. Let's see here. We all think that Diamond Skin wins this, which makes me sad for my boy Lauber and Leftovers. I want them to do well, but they're just not quite gelling at the speed they need to yet. Bahgz and I both have this going 3-2 over to Diamond Skin. DB, you said 3-1. I think the important thing here is we can both agree that Leftovers can take a map off Diamond Skin.
I think they can take a map. I don't think they can take 2. I still think Diamond Skin they're a lot better than people say they are, and it's just because EU is really good.
Yeah.
Like, they're a lot better than their record. It's just because EU, again, is by far, by a country mile, the deepest region.
Yes.
The thing is, I agree with you. It's just, it's so frustrating that we're seeing that for the second phase in a row. So that was phase 2 as well. That was the reason why they were in the Crucible, right? Like,
but they pulled upsets even in that.
Yeah, well,
they dominated in the Crucible. They had no trouble getting back to HGC.
It's just forever 7th. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like,
if EU's that good, maybe. But
yeah,
they're still a good enough team that I don't. So long as they continue trying, I don't think they have any danger of losing their spot. And I think if you were to take the 7th place team in EU and put them against the 4th place team in NA, whoever that ends up being, Diamond Skin would clean the floor with them. I honestly believe that.
That I don't disagree with.
No.
I think Leftovers has got what it takes to take 2 maps off them, but we'll see. This is the only chance they have to win. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's kind of shots fired, but let's face it.
This is their best chance
to win.
Yeah, this is
win
their
a
best
match.
chance. Yeah, 100%. And then after that, at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have LiQuiuD versus Fnatic. This one no, I take that back. Both DB and Bahgz say Fnatic's going to take LiQuiuD. Bahgz is at 3-2, Fnatic winning. DB's at 3-1, Fnatic winning. I went a different road here. I am not traditionally a Team LiQuiuD fan. I think they struggle right now. But I think Fnatic has had a rough couple of weeks too. And it's going to come to a head here. At least that's what I'm hoping for. With a 3-1 win to Team LiQuiuD. Probably not the highest probability, but definitely the way I'm hoping it goes. All right. Finally, the last 2 games of Part 1. We have NA, 5 p.m. Eastern, LFM versus Heroes Hearth. Hero Physio, I know you're in chat and watching. If you want to plug your ears for a minute, I would understand. We're big fans of LFM here, and I think it's a game to watch, but I think we all agree that Heroes Hearth wins, but we all pick different score lines. DB's going 3-0. I'm going 3-1, and Bahgz, you're saying 3-2.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be because they burned me pretty bad with the loss last week when I picked them to win. But yeah, I'm sticking with it.
All right. Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I definitely think they can take a map. I think they're busting their humps, trying to improve and they're getting better every week. I think Part 2 is going to be really interesting to see what LFM can do, but I think Heroes Hearth is just in the sweet spot, and they're gonna win.
Yeah, I have Heroes Hearth here. I think both teams have considerably improved since week 1, but Heroes Hearth Rise has been meteoric in terms of their synergy, in terms of their play, and LFM's has been incremental at times. I do think that LFM has potential to be very competitive in the second half of the phase. Not to say that I think they escaped the Crucible, but with their growth, it'll be a separate conversation I have then as to whether or not I think they would get out of it. I feel pretty confident they could make a long stay in HGC, but Heroes Hearth, they have the incentive of we need to not only win, we need to win a lot of games and lose almost none to get to Western Clash. They know the win margin matters. And so I think that's going to drive them a bit. For LFM, it's like all this is, oh, well, we're slightly less likely to go to Crucible in like 2 months.
Right.
There isn't going to be the same drive. Not to say that LFM isn't driven, just to say that motivation does matter in these situations to me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then the last game we have for Phase 1, Part 1, except for Korea because of the New Year, is SSG versus Team 12. That starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. All of us have Team 12 winning this game. Bahgz and DB are both at a 1-3. I think SSG is going to come out crazy, fighting, swinging. Street is on a rampage, and it's going to be 3-2. Still going over to Team 12. You're shaking your head, man. That's a hard head shake.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure about giving him the one victory. Now, you probably think I'm crazy because they just beat my team, right? But I think I'd like to believe something clicked in that Team Freedom series for Team 12, and we're gonna see the team that we were kind of hoping to see. That's
okay.
all. And that we hadn't seen up until that point.
Team 12 and Heroes are my NA teams. I honestly want to see Team 12 do what they should be doing, but they haven't yet.
I would say my picks are chalk and safe because I'm not because I really care as much about like points or whatever.
Right.
I'm not doing it, but from the perspective of I do think that if the series goes as expected, Team 12 wins 3-1. SSG will get some early push comp or some early aggression with a lot of picks, and they'll win a game, but Team 12 will overall manage. That said, if I were to pick any game, NA or EU, obviously not Korea because, not really upsets. If I were to pick any game where a major upset could happen, even before Gale Force Tempo Storm, I would give it to SSG over Team 12. I think SSG is coming in hot off their win. I think clearly they've made the changes that they think they need to make, and they're communicating. Their synergy will get a boost from their win last week. I think Team 12 has not been themselves. They are the better players, but the question comes down to how are they gelling as a team? Because so far, I mean, not to be mean, I expected much faster growth out of them.
Yes.
Bringing in Kieran, bringing in Dansky. I expected them to be unequivocally the best team in NA by this point. And they aren't.
I agree. It's been disappointing because coming into the season, we expected them to basically be the Dignitas of NA.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, hopefully something clicked. I don't know, but I would like to see that because the roster on paper, I think, and with the attitude and the motivation that they played with last year as individuals, kind of like it seems like NA's best hope in a long time if it would just click, if that makes sense. All right, so with that being said, I want to take a look. Last week, I scored 18 points on my picks. LiQuiuD whooped me with 21, but he's still way behind because he missed a week. I'm sitting on 94 points total. He's sitting on 53. That and I shot off to a huge lead because I had a great week one. Looking ahead to next week, guys, we've already covered all the picks, but the matchups you don't want to miss. Friday at 5 p.m. In NA, or sorry, am I doing my math right?
Yep.
7 p.m. North America, Temple Storm versus GFE. Very important matchup because GFE and Heroes Hearth are jockeying for essentially that last spot because we can just assume that the 99% chance that Team Freedom and Team 12 have to make it to the Clash will work itself out. Saturday in EU is Team LiQuiuD versus Fnatic. That will be the most competitive matchup of all the matchups that are going to take place. But pretty much all of EU is great this weekend. Map score makes every single game count. So if you can catch them on Friday or Saturday, catch all those EU games if you can. Again, and then on Saturday in North America at 5, LFM versus Heroes Hearth. For the same reason you need to catch Tempo Storm and GFE. And Heroes Hearth is fighting for a spot to make it to the Clash, to be a team that came from the Crucible to go to an international event, well, semi-international. So make sure to tune in because every single map counts. All right, LiQuiuD, take it away.
And the Mastermind Storm is awaiting them. Welcome to the paint train. Kill the boss! Kill the boss! Can they do it? It's too much damage for me! And that's GG!
All right, so Open Division. Only gonna kind of breeze through this because we are running a little long. NA Open Division Cup number 3 is running in about 3 minutes. We do have the semifinals set up for tonight. SMV versus Team Nightcare. Team Nightcare, new team, just started this cup and did a good job. They knocked my team out last night and look to maybe give SMV a run for their money, which would be interesting to see. Also, XD versus Trait Value. Trait Value is Shrey's new team.
couple players from NGS in there as well. Nexus Gaming Series.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. There's a couple of full teams from NGS in here too. Reborn,
not in the top 4.
Not in the top 4, but definitely playing. A form of Night Care played SMV in Cup 1, but they made some changes, Tempest Tots.
Which means it resets their score.
Yep. So Night Care is new. It was something else when they played originally. So that's running in. It's about to kick off. In fact, tweets are going out right now that it's kicking off. So check those out. And then EU Open Division Cup 3 finished today. Team Singularity actually lost this week in the semifinals to Teres Rodzina. We're going with that. Teres Rodzina. It's Europe. And then we also had ePunks losing to Team Go 1-2. Setting up a third place match, ePunks beating Team Singularity 2-1. Surprised me, Team Singularity has won the first 2 cups, but now has finished 4th this game. And then the finals, we had Team Rodzina 2-0ing Team Go. So ePunks and Team Go continue to improve. They've been in a couple of cups now, continue to move their way up the standings. And this is, like I said, the first cup that Singularity has not won. Also, like DB mentioned, NGS is going on. Definitely check that out. There's a number of streamers covering those games. Great organization.
We're actually about to start playoffs for that.
There you go.
Season 3. So playoffs are going to be kicking off soon. For this, West and East are combined into a single region. So it's 3 regions, 24 teams, 3 separate playoffs. I'll probably be casting the finals of one of them. So just stay tuned to the Nexus Gaming Series Twitter account for that, or nexusgamingseries.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And one final thing I want to throw out there for, actually, I guess 2 final things. Heroes Lounge, the EU version of NGS and Chair League, kind of the amateur scene for EU, is starting signups now. And Chair League is supposedly about to create a date for people. I guess they actually have a date. They're just fine-tuning a couple of things. So that news should come out soon if you're interested in Chair League as well.
Awesome.
Cool. All right,
Did
guys.
we before you know what? I'll let you do it during the sign off. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say we should probably mention, I just got reminded via Discord that we have Creators of the Storm coming up.
We do have Creators of the Storm coming up, and I should mention that now and not wait. You are correct, sir. So Creators of the Storm is a tournament that Trolls.gg, we did this once last year, and we get streamers, well, not streamers, I'm sorry. We get other podcasters together on the stream, and we have a little fun tournament. So this year it is going to be February 24th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on this channel here, so follow it, and you'll get alerted when it starts. We have a number of people playing. I'm not going to go through the names because it's quite long, but man, now I feel stupid because I've had that messed up the whole time. Anyway, I'm sorry. But check out trolls.gg/COTS. There is a video. There's all sorts of stuff that Daz is putting in a lot of work on the website. And like I said, we'll be live here on the 24th. Group stage will be covered by Cavalier Guest and various people from different shows. And then the semifinals and the finals will be Tempo Storm's Kala and Bahamut from Heroes Hype doing the casting. So definitely check that out on the 24th. All right.
As well, we just got some t-shirts available. That's teespring.com/store/creators of the storm with dashes in between the words. I'm going to attach a link to the show notes. So for those of you who want to check that out, they'll be there. They'll be on our website. And I'm going to throw it in Twitch chat real quick. Guys, there's some sweet t-shirts that are up. There are going to be more that will be added. There's also sweatshirt as available as our sweats. I'm sorry, you can get the t-shirts in sweatshirt form as well. Hoodies, man. Hoodies. Some of them come in more than one color. Check them out. They're pretty sweet, man. I got to give a big shout out to the graphic designer you've had working on this, LiQuid. They're fantastic, man. I was gonna buy one live on the show, but we don't have enough time, so I'm gonna buy one right after we finish up here.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, he does a lot of work. He did our redid. He has designed our redone overlays and everything else. So good guy, doing as much as he can to help us out. All right. with that said, and now that it's the end of the show and I realized that I totally messed up DBSmiley's Twitter the entire time. Thank you all for listening to Trollin HGC, a weekly podcast about Heroes of the Storm Esports, a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. We stream live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. DBSmiley, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitter.com/deathbysmiley. DBSmiley is someone named Darlene Brown, who apparently was watching CSI on November 16th, 2009, because that is her only tweet, and it's why I can't have that name. Additionally, you can follow me at twitch.tv/DBSmiley. I do has an emote, which I'm going to drop in chat now. Self-promotion. PogChamp. But I cast a lot of Nexus Gaming Series there. And other than that, check out Nexus Gaming Series, nexusgamingseries.com. Get in the Discord. Look for a team. There's a really nice community. There's a lot of just, LFG stuff. So if you don't even want to commit to a team and just want to find people to play with, check it out, nexusgamingseries.com. Get in the Discord.
Bahgz, where can people find you?
Guys, you can find me on Twitter at Bahgz HGC, where I tweet out pictures of my dog, whatever I happen to be doing that day, esports stuff, whenever I'm going live with my stream, which segues nicely. I stream on twitch.tv/Bahgz. I have a scheduled post there as well as on my Twitter, so you can keep up with that. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be doing a Kingdom Hearts playthrough for any of you who want to get all nostalgia about like 10 years ago and wherever you were at life at the time. As well, if you enjoyed tonight's show and are interested in Blizzard's other esports offerings, consider subscribing to the Weekly Blizz, where my buddy Gwaz and I, we're old high school buddies. We cover all of Blizzard esports. So we've been talking a lot about Overwatch League, HCT, StarCraft, everything. WoW Arena just picked up again. So if you enjoy that, that's streamed once a week on Mondays around 7, as well as on all podcast sources. LiQuid, where can people find you?
So the best place to follow me is on Twitter at LiQuiudGG. That's LiQiuDGG. I tweet whenever I'm about to do anything interesting, including streaming, which I haven't been doing as much because work's been crazy, or doing the show, creators. I also every once in a while tweet about my team playing in Open Division. So yeah, follow me there. All right. Thank you, DBSmiley, for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to go over all the various scenarios, even though there's like
Thanks
a
for
million.
Well, not a million, just 1,296.
That's a lot.
plus 216.
Right.
Thank you, Korea, for solving all your problems before I ever had to deal with them. Thank you.
Also, thank you to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/TrollsGG. If you're looking for a way to support us, you can do so there, or follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, all of the random little places around there. Leave us a review on iTunes or Google Play. We love to get feedback and try to improve the show for you guys.
Not to mention, we'll read them on the show.
Your story. Also, you can visit our website, www.trolls.gg, where we have all of our podcasts and all of the articles that our wonderful writers have posted there. Also, keep in mind, like I said at the top of the show, we are looking for more volunteers. You can check that out at www.trolls.gg/join. I think that's all I'm going to say tonight. So we will see you guys in the next.
Peace out.